Abu Dhabi Grand Prix introduced by Jake Humphrey.
Arriving at the circuit in Sao Paulo is always pretty exciting when you're fighting for the championship.
This could be another special day at Interlagos.
So I arrived pumped really for the race, so I was really excited about it.
It's all to drive for, over 71 laps.
The engineer was like, just stay calm and we can do this.
And we're away in Brazil, penultimate round of the championship.
The start was good.
Jenson Button is away.
And then we got round to turn 5 and there was a big accident.
Oh, there's problems there as well. That's Suthill and there's a Toyota there with that Jarno Trulli.
We got through that nice and cleanly, made up a place as well, overtook someone.
Oh, we got the fuel hose on.
Oh, there's a problem there.
I had to really go for it. I had to be aggressive.
Grosjean getting super defensive.
Well, Button hasn't got a chance there, but he's coming back on the inside now. Good move here by Jenson Button. Can he do it?
Another stunning piece of driving under pressure from Button.
Wonderful move by Button. He squeezed him there.
Button had to make it stick.
I was in position to win the title.
Here comes Button again now, sizing up Nakajima on the pit straight.
I just had to stay calm and be consistent.
You want your champion to grab the initiative, he's doing it at the moment. He's through on the inside through that first corner. He's got the line and he's got the place. Jenson Button through. This is breathtaking stuff.
He needs 6 of the finest laps of his life now.
Let's go, let's go!
Oh, nice one.
In the last 3 laps just felt the longest 3 laps of my life.
Where is the champion in waiting?
When I crossed the line, it was a very special feeling.
Jenson Button, the 2009 World Champion!
We are world champions!
Look at the relief, look at the joy! It's all now out in the open.
It was good to see so many grown men crying.
It's special, very special.
It means so much to all of us because we've been through so much in the past.
Jenson Button, fist aloft, world champion.
I've spent 21 years working on reaching my goal, which is to be Formula 1 World Champion, and I've achieved that now.
So, it was a dream that was 21 years in the making since Jenson Button's dad first put him into a kart, and since then the cars have got slightly faster, and to be fair, so has the driver. And if you can just take a look down here, take a look at this. This is Jenson Button's helmet for this race weekend, and if anybody's in any doubt about who the 2009 World Champion is, take a look at those graphics. 2009 Jenson World Drivers Champion. So congratulations to Jenson, and to be fair, he has been leaping around like a very overexcited young man today. And talking of young men, for the final time this season, here we are with David Coulthard and Eddie Jordan. And guys, whatever happens today with Jenson Button's race, this is a race weekend that's going to live long in his memory, isn't it?
Yeah, I see this almost like a celebration of his championship winning year. I don't think he's got the car here to win on true pace. They definitely started the season as the quickest car on the track, but they're not finishing here in Abu Dhabi.
Eddie?
Well, I'd just like to spare a thought. As a father, I'd like to think about John, his dad, who's been through such a lot of pain to get to this level. You don't get to be world champion without a very severe amount of pain. And John has suffered through himself, I'm sure other members of the family. So well done to John for making this happen for us, because Jenson will be always indebted to him.
And this weekend, it's actually hard to work out who's more excited, Jenson Button or John Button. He's had a very big smile on his face. But here we are then. This is it, the final race of the 2009 season, the first race with a brand new world champion, and what a place to end a remarkable season. And if we'd been standing in this very spot 2 years ago, it would have been just sand as far as the eyes could see, but throw some ambition, $1 billion and 3.5 million man-hours of hard graft at the desert, And this is what you can achieve. A marina to rival Monaco, architecture to rival Valencia. Quite simply, a venue to rival anywhere else in the world. Cars pass under a 5-star hotel, they exit the pit lane through a tunnel, and they race from dusk to darkness, which merely adds to the spectacle and to the challenge. And to be honest, it's taken us a while to get here, hasn't it? From Melbourne in March, we've crisscrossed the globe, crowned a world champion and seen some fantastic racing. But there's still plenty to fight for here. Rubens versus Sebastian for 2nd spot, Lewis versus Kimi for 5th, and in the constructors' battle, the 2 biggest teams of all are going head-to-head for 3rd place. Just a point separates them, so who will take home the bragging rights between McLaren and Ferrari? Well, one man who can brag that actually he's been in charge of quite a spectacular project is Richard Keegan, CEO of the Yas Marina circuit. And Richard, first things first, let me have a look at you. Your bags don't look too bad, but have you had any sleep in the past couple of weeks?
Not a lot, a couple of hours a night, but you know, I look around the last couple of days and it's been worth it. I mean, we've had a great team of people. They've worked really, really hard. You know, it's just been a great project.
Now, I know that some of the team came over here and paid the place a little visit in April around the time of the Chinese Grand Prix, and they said the grandstand wasn't there. Well, it certainly is now. It looks fantastic. Just explain how you've gone about creating something like this in such a short space of time, in less than 2 years.
Well, I think, you know, this is a place where they have a can-do attitude. Things happen here. 2.5 years, basically, this was just an island. It was all created, and I think, you know, the team has done an amazing job. Aldar has delivered it. And, you know, this part of the world gets things done. And when they set their mind about it, I think they can achieve whatever they want to. And it's just great. And we hope everybody enjoys it and they go away from here tonight with a great experience.
And are your staff set for a day off tomorrow? Because I imagine they've not had one for a while.
Absolutely. I think we'll be there for a few hours tomorrow, but then that'll be it. They'll be gone for a few days and then rest. But then we've a big programme coming up, so we'll be back into it straight away.
Great. And we'll be back here next year. We look forward to it.
Great.
Thanks very much for your time and congratulations.
Much.
And certainly Richard was a very keen observer during qualifying yesterday as the sun set poetically over the desert. And I think there was one man who was out to prove that Formula One at the moment isn't just about Jenson Button. Here's Lee Mackenzie.
The stunning Abu Dhabi track was bathed in sunlight as the final qualifying of the year got underway. But which driver would cover themselves in glory by the time that darkness had descended? As the lights turned to green, the charge was on, but for some drivers it was limited. Romain Grosjean struggled for grip in his Renault, as did McLaren's Heikki Kovalainen.
And Kovalainen there, well out of shape.
But the surprise departure in Q1 was Fernando Alonso.
What a shot, what a turn up there. Fernando Alonso, worst qualifying of the season.
Although he was maybe less surprised than we were.
Nothing really changed compared to practice. We were not quick in practice and we were not quick in quali. Hopefully tomorrow we can make some places, but it's going to be a tough race for us.
Q2 saw the chances of some drivers fading as quickly as the sunlight. It was another torrid day for Kovalainen, who'd been quick in practice, but transmission problems meant that he couldn't bring his car back home in qualifying.
I lost 2nd gear. Well, in fact, I got stuck on the 2nd gear, but I had no drive, so I couldn't change any gear, and what a shame.
And fellow Finn Kimi Räikkönen struggled.
Räikkönen's out of quali.
His Ferrari horse looking more lame than prancing.
Balance itself is quite good, but we don't have the downforce and the grip in the car, so it's nothing what I can do more.
Night racing was the name of the game by Q3, and thousands of lights flooded the track and surrounding desert. Hamilton was cutting through the darkness in an impressive way, as he had been throughout the whole of qualifying.
Here he comes then, Lewis Hamilton, onto the pit straight. Provisional pole then for Lewis Hamilton.
But there was a Red Bull or two on the charge. Sebastian Vettel went quickest for a while, but Hamilton put in a stunning last dash to the flag and came out an astonishing 6/10 quicker than Vettel, his nearest rival.
Lewis Hamilton, cool as you like, pole position, he's lit up Abu Dhabi.
Mark Webber had to settle for 3rd, with the newly crowned world champion Jenson Button in 5th.
I had massive vibrations, I don't know why. I don't know if it's to do with the brakes or if it's to do with the tyres. But every time I hit the brakes, just the steering wheel was shuddering, so it wasn't very nice.
Good day for the team. You know, I'm happy to be starting, you know, towards the front clearly, and we have a good chance tomorrow for a good race.
We were not as competitive, but we knew it will be a difficult qualifying. I think in the end, 2nd and 3rd for us, for the team is great, in front of the bronze.
The car is, like I said, it felt the best it has all year, which, you know, we haven't come here with any upgrades, so it was a real surprise to us. We came here not knowing what to expect.
So Lewis Hamilton lines up at the front with the Red Bulls behind. Barrichello still hopes for 2nd in the World Championship, and he starts from 4th with Button in 5th. It's the last race for BMW and they start from the 4th row of the grid. Sebastian Buemi starts from 10th, and that gearbox change for Heikki Kovalainen means that he takes a 5-place grid penalty and drops from 13th to 18th. Alonso moves up to 15th, and the Ferrari of Fisichella props up the grid.
Well, Lewis may have lost the Drivers' World title, but he clearly hasn't lost his desire for speed. That was a pretty impressive showing from him, wasn't it, in qualifying?
Yeah, it was all dominant, right from when he first went out here and got on with learning the track. He just found a groove. He was already saying on Friday practice the car's felt the best it has all year, and he has delivered a great qualifying performance. You could argue, actually, he didn't carry enough fuel. You know, he's too far ahead.
And one of Eddie's friends, Bernie Eccleston's making his way down the paddock, giving Ernie a smack on the bottom. Maybe he's not impressed with your performances this season, Eddie.
I'm not sure what was going on there, but I saw King Carlos and obviously the rulers here, His Highness, but what they've done, you know, he's showing the people what he's done here, and someone has to give real applaud to Bernie, because he always surprises us. When you least expect it, he comes out with real jewels in the crown every time. And I don't want to be over complimentary to him, but he has really pulled one out here for the here, because it's an amazing place.
Great, and I hope that didn't hurt.
Even if it did, he probably wanted it to hurt, but maybe even more than I did hurt, than it did hurt.
Come on, let's go for a walk, because yesterday the guys discussed 6 of the teams and their merits of this past season, and today we're going to finish off the final 4, starting with an outfit who've generated more headlines than they have points.
Piquet's got off then.
Nelson Piquet has wiped the nose off that. Is that yet another nose?
We all quite honestly thought this could be the end of our jobs.
Nelson Piquet Jr. from me is a far superior driver to what we have here with Grosjean.
Oh, there's Alonso going on.
Great driving by Fernando Alonso.
Oh my word, look at the wheel now, it's come completely off. 3 wheels on his wagon. Fernando Alonso in 3rd.
Oh, Alonso took a big wallop in that.
Fernando for Ferrari indeed. This is the car that Fernando Alonso will drive for Renault for the final time. And Eddie, this season Renault have lost managers, they've lost drivers, they've lost sponsors at times. It was a bit like rats fleeing a sinking ship, but just in the past couple of weeks they seem to have steadied it down a bit, don't they?
Well, exactly. They put Bob Bell in charge there. I know Bob really well, and he is a very steady hand. I do notice that they've got some new sponsors, which that is very encouraging for the future. And I think they'll be right back in the mix next year. I think this was a very major blip for them, but it's out of character, and I think they'll be right back. World champions in the past, could be in the future.
They finished so well last season. Where do you think it's all gone so wrong?
Well, past performance is no guarantee of future success. We've said it so many times. They just didn't understand how to really get the best out of those new regulations. And we saw McLaren Ferrari were leading the way last year, and then suddenly they're in the middle of the pack this year. So now, with stability into 2010, they need to get back to their winning ways. OK,
well, let's start wondering again. And while we do, perhaps you can give me a one-word answer. We know that Fernando Alonso's leaving the team. Who do you expect to come in and join Robert Kubica as Renault's second driver next year?
Well, I think that they should put another experienced driver, and Timo Glock's on the market. He would be an obvious choice for me. I just don't get the concept of, they get rid of Piquet, and actually Grosjean hasn't done any better a job at all. I know you've got to try new guys, but it doesn't seem to have worked.
OK, tough season for Renault, but at least they get the chance to put it right next season, unlike these boys.
There goes Kubica, there goes Vettel. That's the last thing they needed to do.
Third for Heidfeld. And that's Kubica into the back of Jarno Trulli.
Oh, dear me. That sums up BMWs in 2009, really.
Well, he'll be doing that for Renault next season, he hopes. Only one podium celebration for BMW this season, David. Their 70th and final race, and it's strange because it was looking so good going into 2009 for them, wasn't it?
Yeah, indeed. They almost won the World Championship the previous year. Everything looked like, with Robert Kubica and the team, that we're going to build on that. But again, they didn't understand the regulation change, and that's the last time he's going to be stepping into this car for BMW. OK, there you go, Robert Kubica diving into the cockpit, taking to the grid very shortly. Let's make our way around to the next team along. And while we're heading there, Eddie, what do you think is going to happen to BMW? Will they be purchased and end up on the grid next season in a different guise, do you think?
I'm really confident that between Jean Todt, the new president, Peter Sauber, their old relationship going back, I'm absolutely certain we will have a Sauber-run team next year. Whether it's BMW or not, that's yet to be known, and I probably doubt that. But I think from the ashes will emerge a Sauber team, just like you saw with Braun, and who knows, it would be a remarkable turnaround if they could do something similar, because that would be a real fairy tale, because no one would expect it second time round.
Absolutely. Sad times when a team leaves the sport, but what about when a great team start to struggle?
Lewis, you need to allow the Toyota through. Allow the Toyota through now.
I couldn't tell you how sorry I am.
One of the worst cars possibly McLaren have ever designed.
Oh, it's just got a lot worse for him. The first time in 2009, Lewis Hamilton, he's a winner again. Hamilton's gone off as well. Oh, Lewis Hamilton's had a spin.
Oh, we got the fuel hose on.
Heikki Kovalainen's gearing up for action. He's starting 18th on the grid after a very disappointing qualifying session yesterday. He's expected to leave the team for next season. Lewis Hamilton said he wants his new teammate to come in peace, and to be honest, sometimes these garages can be a bit like the Wild West, can't they?
Well, absolutely. We've seen it a few times in the past where when you have two really top-line drivers in a team, it can actually destroy the ambience which has been created there. So what they need in McLaren is a really solid number two. That's a guy that will be the wingman for Lewis. And when Lewis drops the ball, which doesn't happen very often, he's capable of winning. And for whatever reason, Heikki hasn't been able to deliver that.
OK, just very quickly, Eddie, you were pretty scathing of McLaren earlier on in the season. How impressive is their turnaround?
Best ever, I think. Yeah. No one gave them hope, really, halfway through the season. And what they've emerged as the best team. I mean, we know Hamilton has scored more points in the second half of the season than anyone else. For me, one of the most remarkable stories of this season was their turnaround, so well done to them. I got it wrong, I presume, in that, or castigated as so.
He's finally admitted that at race 17. Right, as you can hear, engines are being turned on, cars are revving up, getting ready to go to the grid. But of course, you can't discuss Formula One teams without talking about these boys.
Raikkonen into the wall.
Felipe, baby, stay cool. We're bringing you the white visor. Stay cool.
Ferrari about to exit the race.
Ferrari's first victory of the season.
Well, Felipe Massa, of course, will be back in a Ferrari next season. Right, Eddie, the worst ever start to a season for Ferrari. The first time they haven't had a pole position in a season since 1993. What can they do in 2010 to turn things around? Because they really need to, don't they?
Well, they've started with a very good shot, and bringing Alonso to the team is a huge influence. However, we know that there's aggravation between Massa and Alonso from the past, so you do need to make sure that the teammates get on well together, and at the moment I still have to be convinced of that.
I think many people do, David. Very tasty, isn't it? Fernando Alonso and Felipe Massa in the same team. We know they've had a little coming together in the past. How do you expect that one to play out?
Well, potentially it's the strongest driver lineup in the grid, and I think that ultimately they're both bright enough to know that you've got to work together to develop the car, and then what will be out on the track. I think the Ferrari management are long enough in the tooth to know how to control the drivers, so they've got the benefit of the comeback this year. They followed McLaren as the second highest scoring team in the second half of the season, so they'll carry that momentum into next season.
Yeah, well, Ferrari, of course, have lost their championship this season. Finally, how would you sum up the year for these teams? I suppose it was a year of just an incredible development rate, wasn't it?
Well, if we're talking about generally all the teams, yes, I think that's it. If you look at where teams were at the start of the finish, right to the end, they've all gained from, say, McLaren 2.8 seconds or something like that, way back down to Braun, only getting 1 second. So there has been huge development throughout the season, despite the testing ban.
Yeah, they've been the dominant team of the last decade. You know, they don't lose that overnight, and I think that their comeback this year has shown that we can expect them to be challenging next season. OK, just about half an hour now until the race gets going. Of course, Ferrari, they'll be desperate to get back to winning ways and possibly pick up the championship next season. But if there's one guy who's never going to win a championship, in fact, never even going to win a race, it's yours truly. However, to support Go Motorsports, it was decided that I should jump in a car and take to the track at Silverstone. And as you saw yesterday, things didn't exactly go to plan.
brake hard, Jake, brake. That
was thoroughly embarrassing. I've got panic in my eyes. Right, so 3 steady laps just to qualify.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore.
My first full-on crash had really knocked the wind out of my sails.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fed up though. Wayne's going to be furious with me, isn't he? Wayne, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
But one big question still remained. Had I done enough to qualify?
I've had enough drama for one weekend. I can't cope with the pressure of this anymore. However, looking at the times which have just been dropped off, Jake Humphrey is starting 41st out of 48 cars. How about that?
I think he's exceeded our expectations.
Yeah, compared to what we was on the track day that he did.
Where he started, he's
a lot
come a long
further
way.
up than we thought he was going to be.
Emotionally at this point, I was drained. Still shaken from the crash, but relieved not to have qualified last. However, there was still the race to get through, and I needed all the help I could get.
My old manager, some of you might know, Mr. Jordan.
Ah, Mr. Eddie Jordan,
once told me, hold it tight and leather it way out.
You know, I've got a damaged car now.
Run out of talent.
Listen, I never had any to start with. There's no running out of talent for me. It's not having any that's the problem.
All too soon, it was time to go.
Right, this is it. Balaclava going on now for the race. The aim of qualifying was not to qualify last on the grid. I've achieved that. Now the aim in the race is not to finish last and to finish. I think it was Ron Dennis said that to finish last, first you have to finish. So, no, he didn't. He said to finish first you have to finish. This is it. This is it. Oh my gosh. Here we go. I don't want to leave this nice, safe garage, and I don't want to stall it in front of all these people either.
I knew I'd been privileged to have been given this opportunity, but at this point I just wanted it to be over and to be in one piece on the other side.
You got to remember, come back safely. Drive it like it's stolen.
Okay.
We're almost ready to go at Silverstone in 2009, and we're ready and off!
All I needed was a few good laps to settle me down, and I knew I could do the team proud. But then fate stepped in. Carnage ensued, and all thoughts of racing went out the window.
Oh my gosh! There must have been about 20 crashes in that first lap. I don't believe it. I don't know if I got a damaged car. People just go mad.
The steering wheel's probably out. The angles of the front wheels are probably out.
The car doesn't feel great now.
He is trying to nurse home, but quite an ill car.
Just lost all confidence in the car.
My very first race had become a battle just to make it to the finish.
He's just being passed by the back marker, the last person.
My heart sunk as it became clear I was last, but I wasn't prepared to just give up.
Come on, remember what you were taught, Jake. Remember what you were taught, you shouldn't be last.
Come on, Jake, keep pushing, Jake.
Brake. Third gear.
He needs to find 7 seconds in the next 5 minutes to make sure that he doesn't finish last.
Come on, Jake, keep going.
He is catching him.
Right, come on, Jake, last lap. Make this the best lap of your life.
Last lap, mate, keep going.
Well, it may not have been the race I dreamt about, and perhaps I was last, but against a bunch of experienced racers, I'd done it.
Man, that was difficult. The whole aim of this exercise was to show people at home how difficult it is to get into a racing car and compete with people, and I think I've ably shown just how hard this is. Put me in front of a TV camera in front of a few million people any day, but not back in the seat of a racing car. I'll leave it to people with a lot more talent than me. Slow. I was quite quick around this bottom bit, wasn't I? But I was slow apart from that.
You did brilliantly.
To finish last.
No.
And when we say the end, we mean the end of my racing career. I think that's wise, don't you?
Well, you've got room for improvement, that's for sure. But yeah, I think it just highlights how difficult it is to get out on track and exploit a racing car.
That's what's great about getting people into cars. It does make people realise that just driving around in a Lotus is tricky. So when guys get to Formula 1 level, what they do is really amazing.
Yeah, you've got no downforce in a Lotus. You know, in fact, it generates lift as it goes along the straight. So to imagine having 5 times of the load pushing the car into the tarmac as you're trying to go around the corner, that's the thing that's so difficult to make the public understand, the physical demands on the driver when they're in the car.
At least I had a glamorous woman waiting for me when I climbed out the car. That's halfway there, isn't it?
Well, yeah, you definitely fulfill that aspect of the Playboy racing driver with your beautiful wife, but yeah, you're a long way to go in the driving technique.
Absolutely, and there's no Playboy here, Harriet, just in case you're wondering. Roman Grosjean makes his way down the pit lane, clearly burning off fuel before the start of the race today. It's worth talking about, actually, the fact that I was racing in a Lotus there, because after 15 years out of the sport, Lotus are returning to Formula 1 next season, just one of a few new teams, and it's going to look like quite a different sport next year, isn't it?
Yeah, well, big thing for next year is no refuelling, and I believe that's going to bring the driver into a bigger part of the race, because he's going to manage his brakes and his tyres much more than he does today. OK, well, it's a brand new grid for Martin Brundle to get to know, so we've decided to give him an old friend to help him out. We're reuniting on the tarmac, ex-team boss and ex-driver. So over to Martin Brundle and Eddie Jordan.
Well, here we are on the grid. A remarkable atmosphere down here. Eddie, the lights are on already for this dusk to dark race, and great atmosphere. There's a guy standing here that I just stopped as he was walking past. Boris Becker here on the grid. Boris, what do you think of this place?
Amazing. You know, they all say a lot before races how it's going to be, but it's actually all true what they say in every detail. Amazing place.
So you're with Mercedes-Benz, aren't you? And your man Hamilton on the front of the grid here should have this one in the bag, shouldn't he?
Well, out of the qualifying, but you know, Formula 1, you're the experts, you know how much can go wrong in every single race. So, but for the last race of the season, we feel pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry,
please.
Marty, we were playing rock and roll this time last week or something like that in Hockenheim. So what happened to you? You ran away from the stage on me?
Well, you were playing and I was listening to your music. But now and then change the song. I've heard the song once or twice.
I know, it's the only one I know. But listen, we've got to get you on that karaoke machine again.
Right, meanwhile, we're
gone.
We're going to serve up some mischief on the grid if we get half a chance. And what I want to do, I just want to talk over here to, there's 350 British Marshals here. British Marshals are the best in the world. That's why they've been chosen to come and look after this place.
Hi, Chris.
Are you Chris?
I'm Chris.
Chris, how you been here? There's a lot of you guys in town. Has it been good for you?
It's been really good. It's a fantastic experience, and I'd really like to thank BARC for the opportunity and the ATC for accommodating us.
Now, if you want to get close to the action and maybe not as a driver, you can be a marshal. Now, you're not going to make a fortune being a marshal. It's probably going to cost you money, but you guys really get in the thick of it, don't you?
Yeah, I've been doing this now. This is my 30th year, so I've seen a lot of changes, but it's in the blood, so we carry on.
The other day we were talking to John Button, obviously the dad of Jensen. We talked about Winter Series in Snetterton. Doesn't that just so appealing, my God, when you think about the cold and the pain, but the fun afterwards. That's what makes it all special.
It's team spirit, you know, we're all a team, and the British Marshals, I still say, you know, it's biased, but we are the best in the world, without a doubt. We really are the best in the world.
We need to move on. If you want to become a marshal, look on the websites, the British Motor Racing Marshals Club, etc., etc. Lewis Hamilton on the grid here, a big speed advantage. He's 2 laps shorter than he's 2 laps shorter on fuel than others. Let's see if we can just get a quick word as he's walking off to Lewis. Lewis, just a quick word as you're walking along. We'll come with you, mate, if that's all right. Can we? We've got Eddie Jordan with us as well. Surely this one is in the bag, isn't it? Your car's fast enough.
You never have it in the bag, but no, I mean we've done a great job all week. It's an incredible feeling to be right at the front at the last race, but we've still got to do a solid job out there today. But we definitely have the pace, and I think the strategy will be great as well.
All right, well, you're certainly looking in brilliant form in quali. I've got Mr. Jordan with me on the grid walk today.
Good to talk to you for the first time. But apart from that, we're all aware that the last half of the season you've won your, if you like, second half of the season World Championship. Does that say a lot for going into next year? I know you were not always happy with the car.
Absolutely. I mean, we never anticipated we'd be so fast towards the end of the season, but that was our goal. And very proud of all the guys back at the factory. You know, keep your fingers crossed, keeping up the work. This is a great way to end the season, hopefully give us hopefully the momentum into next year. So
the boy's bursting.
You go.
See you later. Good luck. Right, we got to get back on the grid now. Gonna have to get the pass out to get us back on the grid, and nearly got wiped out by
That's
a
two
Renault.
races in a row, Marty. I think they've got a death wish on me. What's going on?
I know, we've got to say nicer things about the Renault team, haven't we? Otherwise. Now, who else can we get a chat with? We've got Mika Hakkinen here talking to the TV. Let's see if Mark Webber's about, third on the grid. It's so hot out here that I suspect...
I've got Mark up here. We're going to nail him.
Well spotted.
Do you mind, Mr. Becker? Because you don't own this show, you know. We'd like to speak to the Aussie Brigade here. Come on, Mark. That was a sensational performance. You must be really over the moon with that.
Can't hear a thing, but yeah, it went pretty well yesterday in quali. It's a sensational circuit, and obviously a lot of new things here. Twilight, sort of qualifying twilight race. So it'll be an interesting fight today with, I predict JB. Lewis looks pretty strong, and, you know, Seb and I, with Jensen, all three of us.
And what about that fight for second place in the championship? You've left out Barrichello, I noticed. Why did you do that?
Yeah, well, for sure, I'm not going to do anything to, you know, hurt Seb's chances. So we need to fight hard. Of course, we will do as much as we can, but it's totally in the team's interest not to lose too many points on that front. But we need a good result for the team to finish a great championship off.
It's a diagonal, this straight, short pitch straight. Is there a clean and dirty side? Who's going to get away better?
This side's slightly, but it's not exactly Monza. You won't get to 7th gear, so it's probably 4th gear, short application into turn 1. So it's not a big deal being on the other side.
Give it plenty, long winter ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, Andrew Flintoff here. You've had a knee operation, yeah? How's it going?
Yeah, been good. I've been in Dubai probably for the past 7 weeks doing my rehab out here, and then got the opportunity from Red Bull to come here today, and it's spectacular. It's my first experience of the Grand Prix, so I'm just on the track now, just trying to take it all in.
Have you seen any of the practice or qualifying?
No, I'm not seeing a great deal, to be honest. We're trying to find babysitters for the kids and that. You know, I've got 3 kids up back home, so me and the missus have come for a day out.
So who's babysitting Chubby?
Pardon?
Who's babysitting your manager, Chubby? He needs babysitting more than anyone.
Nah, Chubby's out in Singapore with the golfers.
Well done.
Okay, we're at least going to get noisy any minute now. We're out of here. Good to see you.
Cheers, mate.
Something else you want to say?
No, I'm fine.
Right, good to see you. Right, let's wander along and see who else we can find. Dr. Zetcher there, the governor of Mercedes-Benz. A lot of things going on in the paddock with Mercedes-Benz, McLaren and Braun at the moment, EJ, would you say?
Well, you know, there's also things going on with our friend here, Man in a Sling. We've got Richard Branson here. In case you want to nail him, we can do that. But we come back to the Mercedes thing at another stage. But Richard is not exactly publicity shy, is he? And we try and... Oh, Richard, there's a surprise. We just found you. Tell us about the arm. What the hell's happened to this?
I turned a quad bike over and I've just had an operation on that shoulder. And no, anyway, but what a beautiful setting, isn't it?
I've got to say thank you for this to the people in the BBC, because you swore on telly when everyone else thought I'd be the first, so thank you for doing that for me. But we did apologise on your behalf, didn't we, Marty?
So, Richard, you're leaving the Braun team, yeah, for next year and going to the new Manor Grand Prix team. Is that a fact now?
No, today I'm very much supporting Braun and looking forward to hopefully Barrichello coming second in the championship. That's what we're going to be watching today. And then as to next season, we normally like to support the underdog, as we did this time, so we may try to sort of support a new English team next time, but we'll see.
Okay, good stuff. Good to see you.
Me being a bit of a muso head, who the hell do we... Look at the state of him. What does he look like?
You are looking in.
We went to the gig the other night. JK, enjoying it?
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, just the access for fans alone to be able to watch the race. We've got a lot of catching up to do at home.
I tell you what, you win the award for the... I've never seen anything like it. He's got more passes on there.
Where are they going to get you?
Where are they going to get me? Yeah.
Can they get me backstage for Aerosmith later? That's what I want to know.
It really is. It's got to be one of the finest tracks in the world. Sure. Outstanding. Just the way this has come about. 22 months, and they've done it so well. You know, we need to catch up and do it.
Who do you want to win this race today? You're a Ferrari man, really, aren't you?
Well, one car in. I'd love to see a Ferrari podium. You know, that would be the one. Yeah, it would be good.
I think it'll take some bizarre results for that to happen today.
I didn't know you were that big a dreamer, but obviously maybe...
You're not so bad yourself, lad. Absolutely.
We're off, JK. See you later. Right, let's wander over here. I don't know if this... Can
I just play?
I see His Royal Highness Crown Prince of Bahrain.
If I could please actually...
You're not really supposed to be dragging him across
guys.
the grid, EJ. Sir, how are you? Good to see you. So, you have a magnificent Grand Prix, but your neighbours here have put on something quite special, wouldn't you say?
It is spectacular, and frankly, it does so much for the sport here in the Gulf region that we're just all thrilled and very happy.
Well, you must have been, actually, to be very honest, Martin, we need to give them a big compliment, because I don't think the sport would be anything like as big as it is without first Bahrain's involvement, because he took the initiative, he went to Bernie, he set a dream out, because I remember being with him on various occasions in the early days. So congratulations, I think a lot of this is your spin-off.
Thank you. And now that we have 2 races out of the calendar here, I think it's going to drive investment, it's going to drive interest. We hope to see some local talent rising through the ranks of GP3, GP2, and hopefully Formula One one day. So that's the goal.
I'm really sorry I missed your birthday party in the week. I heard it was pretty spectacular.
Thank you very much, and thanks for the birthday greetings.
Good stuff. And with the next races back, we will look forward to being back in Bahrain to have the first race of next season.
March
Don't forget.
14th. I hope you're all watching.
Yeah, Bahrain is the first Grand Prix of the 2010 season. We're running out of time here on the grid. EJ, so many people to talk to, so much to do, but I'm afraid we are going to have to get out of here anytime soon.
Thanks, Martin.
Enjoy the race.
Well, look at that. Martin Brundle's now managed to track down Bernie Eccleston and various other people on the grid. And I think it was clear, when you get a new Grand Prix, everybody wants to be here. That was a really packed grid, and it's a fantastic atmosphere for the drivers, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed, there he is with Ray Juan Carlos of Spain. I believe actually took him around for a ride in the two-seater a few years ago when McLaren used to have that on track. And yeah, these events, there's so much more than just a few racing cars heading around the track. You know, the real meet and greets of various heads of state and what have you. If you look at Bador there, probably ruining that he ever got back in a Ferrari in Spa. But no, it's a tremendous event, and I think it's great to see that Crown Prince of Bahrain acknowledging how this just adds to motorsport in this region.
And talking of adding to the fun, now we have a fly past from the Emirates. Now, Emirates are, of course, their version of British Airways. It's the national carrier out here, and we can see the plane, the 747, making its way over the middle of the circuit now. They really are putting on a fantastic show. The big question is, though, is it a circuit to match all the razzmatazz?
Let's take a look at this 3.45 mile new Yas Marina circuit. And the first thing we find is a very slow pit lane through a tunnel that will be full speed in the race, or whatever they can get up to anyway. That's incredible. That's going to be a real unique feature, but a danger too, I suspect. Okay, Martin, let's go for it. Down the hill into what is turns 5 and 6. A tight little chicane, a short squirt to a 45 mile an hour hairpin. So this will be a potential overtaking place. If the driver comes out of here, pulls the car over to the right hand side, he's going to have someone right up his inside. And then we're on to the back straight, building up to about 195 miles an hour. The runoff here at the end is underneath the grandstand. Okay, Martin, what's quite impressive is the level of dust coming off the back of your car. Yeah, no, it's amazing, isn't it? Oh, he's fighting back, but I'm on the dirty stuff. Oh, where's it going? This is turn 10. very slippery out there. Be careful here because it's off camber. Now that's a feature of this circuit, off camber corners.
They're going to be very tricky. You get off camber a little bit, car's just going to be slipping and sliding.
Now I can see a lot of mistakes in there. It's a triple right, always slowing. It's really tempting to come in too hard. Now we're coming to the marina section. Quite slow, a bit like a street circuit.
Do you see any of the drivers overcooking it into here? Getting wide, there's not a lot of runoff, is there?
Yeah, no. And then this penultimate corner. Now the pit in is actually quite tight, and on the racing line this might cause a bit of controversy. This last corner is tighter than it looks. Onto a shortish pit straight. Bring it to the right hand side. Ready for heavy braking down into turn 1, which will be pretty interesting off the start. Is this a racetrack you fancy racing?
Yeah, definitely. I think that this first sector very fast and flowing. The back section more like a Monaco street circuit. And I think visually for the drivers it's just going to be incredible going from day into night.
David and Martin, box this lap, box this lap. Okay, confirm, boxing this lap.
And it's less than 10 minutes now until the drivers make their way out on the start of the inaugural Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And we saw you racing around there with Martin at night. You did very well not to hit each other, very impressive. But the drivers are actually going from dusk tonight, and that presents a sort of whole host of possible options and difficulties for the drivers, doesn't it?
Yeah, physically it's much better for them, of course, because we're losing the heat of the day, and you know, it just makes it that little bit more comfortable in the car. But visually it's quite difficult. So what we've seen here is they have clear visors with dark rip-offs. So they'll start with that rip-off on at the beginning of the Grand Prix. It's a natural light fades, and we get under floodlights, they'll pull that dark strip off.
Are they happy about it?
Yeah, I think so. You know, a new track, new challenge. You know, the facilities here are great. And, you know, remains to be seen whether this will be up there in their top 5 of great Grand Prix circuits. But let's wait and see what we can, you know, get delivered this afternoon.
Absolutely, looking forward to it. But Formula One is as much about developing your car throughout the season as it is about starting with a really great car. And Ted Kravitz can now tell us who's won the race for development in 2009.
As an average over the season, McLaren have made the biggest improvement. They're now 2.8 seconds per lap, quicker than they were in March. Force India are next up. They've found 2.6 seconds from a fairly low base. Red Bull Racing are 2 seconds per lap quicker than Melbourne, with BMW at 1.8 and Toyota 1.6 seconds quicker. Brawn started from such a high base that they've only improved the car by 1 second per lap, yet they still had enough to win both championships. Renault and Ferrari diverted development to next year's car, so they've made smaller gains. As for today's race, McLaren should still win despite not having the best strategy. Lewis Hamilton is stopping 1 lap earlier than Mark Webber and 2 laps earlier than Sebastian Vettel, but Lewis has the pace to win, whatever his strategy. It's the Brawns who are in trouble. They're 2 of the lightest cars on the grid, and both Barrichello and Button will need to overtake in the first stint to make their strategies work. Nick Heidfeldt's on a standard 2-stopper, while Kimi Raikkonen's playing the long game, going all the way to lap 28.
So it's certainly been a successful finish to the season for McLaren, and Ron Dennis has certainly chosen the perfect place to return to the paddock for the first time in a few races, and he's with Lee Mackenzie.
Ron, it's nice to see you back in the grid. What do you think of this so far?
Fantastic circuit, huge investment in Formula One, not just obviously in Abu Dhabi, but you know, it's just good to see the team in such a strong position. Martin done a great job. Obviously, I still have a bit of an overview on everything, but very much focused on, you know, where we're going as a group, where we're going with our automotive.
Could be a lucky omen that you're back and Lewis is back on the front of the grid. Will we see you at many races next season?
I'll come to a few, but my job's really now on the bigger picture issues. They're doing a great job.
Thanks very much.
Well, is Ron going to be celebrating a Lewis Hamilton win this afternoon, Eddie?
I think so. It's appropriate that he should come to this race when Lewis is clearly the favourite to win.
Interesting that he says he's concentrating on bigger issues. Formula One was such a big part of his life. I just can't believe that.
There's always something going on in his life, I'm sure. Right, here we go then. For the 17th and final time in 2009, live and uninterrupted, it's Formula One on the BBC, the inaugural Abu Dhabi Grand Prix with Martin Brundle and Jonathan Ledyard.
KLF is going to rock you. KLF is going to rock you. KLF is going to rock you.
Formula One always prides itself, doesn't it, as the pinnacle of the motor racing world. Well, I'd say it's met its match in Abu Dhabi. There has never been another Grand Prix venue like this. It seems to have everything, this Yas Marina circuit. In fact, the only detail of the master plan which hasn't worked is staging the championship decider, and frankly you can't really blame the organisers for that, because there is so much else to take in, so much to enjoy. I read somewhere that Yas Island Complex, when it's complete, it'll be a mix of Monte Carlo, Florida and Las Vegas, but without the history, the hurricanes and the gambling. Just one request today, some good racing. With the pressure off after the Brazil race 2 weeks ago for Jenson Button and the Brawn team, how can they round off such a fairy tale season? Who's going to claim second place in the Drivers' Championship? Sebastian Vettel and Rubens Barrichello, just 2 points between them. Has Lewis Hamilton's pole position yesterday given McLaren the decisive edge over their perennial rivals Ferrari for third in the Constructors' table? BMW in their final Grand Prix are challenging their former partners Williams for sixth. We've only got 6 drivers on the current grid confirmed for next season. How many will not be back next year? Is it going to be farewell to the likes of Giancarlo Fisichella, Kazuki Nakajima, Romain Grosjean? We had our first twilight qualifying where the teams all struggled to varying degrees to find the best performance from their tyres in the cooler conditions. How are they going to find 55 laps around this 3.4 mile track? And most crucially, I suppose, how are they going to find the scramble for position on the opening laps? First corner is going to be a challenge, overtaking opportunities at the 3 chicanes. If we thought Brazil was dramatic, are we ready and right to fasten our seatbelts, Martin?
I think it's going to be an interesting afternoon. It's a question of will Hamilton come across any problems, surprise safety cars. They were quite trigger happy on the safety car in the GP2 race. As we said, it was put out quite quickly for an incident at the end of the second straight. But generally, if Lewis has an untroubled afternoon and his pit stops go fine, he's on a 2-stopper. I think it's a massive fight for who's going to be second and third, and with him up there on the podium, some grudge matches in the middle of the field as well. BMW departing, Williams versus BMW in the championship, Ferrari versus McLaren. The Ferraris looked a little bit like that pedal Ferrari we saw a few moments ago on our programme, especially in Fisichella's hands. So can their Kerr's button get them past a few cars? I think the second half of the grid, they're all on one-stop strategy. So it'll be the first lap, I think, will be a gloves-off fight all the way through the field, and then it'll settle into a chess match at the back, in the back half of the grid as they run their strategy. And at the front, I think it'll be quite feisty.
Best lap of the season so far, said Lewis Hamilton last night about his qualifying performance, and it was 7/10 better than anyone else. Fantastic performance. But if you look at the grid, there's Hamilton on his own. Heikki Kovalainen, his teammate, by the way, has had to take a 5-place drop because of a gearbox change. Vettel alongside Webber just there, Barrichello and Button very close. The teammates all grouped in there. You can see Kubica and Heidfeld together for BMW in their last race. Is Jarno truly going to last longer than 5 corners as he did in Brazil 2 weeks ago? Never quite sure where he's going to manage and end up. Sebastian Buemi in the top 10 for the 3rd race running. Nico Rosberg, last drive for the Williams team after 5 years. Kimi Räikkönen, first of the one-stopper, something like 28 or 29 laps. And there's Fernando Alonso. Did we expect to see him down there? No, we did not. In many ways, yes, the track hasn't really played to Renault's advantage. In fact, anything but. There is Heikki Kovalainen. Kerr's power boost for something like 80 horsepower extra, but it's going to be a miracle to lift him from up there. And what about the last 2 there? Fisichella and Grosjean. Is this their last appearance on a Formula One grid? Jenson Button, no real fears, no worries now. He's had a wonderfully relaxing time ever since all that tension just poured out of him. Champagne, tears, relief, everything, and a wonderful reception since his championship. Well deserved, but how can he get back on a podium station for the first time, the second time since that last victory he had in Turkey? As expected, the front of the grid all on the harder tyre. It's the only sensible tyre to start this Grand Prix on. And they're expecting, remember, they have to use both compounds, the green stripe one and the normal hard tyre during the Grand Prix. I haven't seen anybody that's using them yet, the softer tyre.